Are we remembering to feel the front of our shins today? Are we remembering that there is a candle in front of our lips, in which we do not want to put out today? How are you feeling today? Good morning. Feeling so good from the inside out, better than your morning would feel without. With your host, Herbie. Good morning, everyone. This is how go on as we use some body magic tricks every morning to discuss some topics that mayhaps be difficult to literally speak about without some guided awareness to keep our body and nerve all feeling so good to actually enjoy a conversation like that. How can we enjoy a strange and serious conversation? Possibly by speaking, listening, and breathing. Breathing. How are we gonna breathe well? By moving our awareness around. Like, if you would with me, please pretend that there is a candle with me, just floating in front of your lips. And it's just floating there. It's just flickering there. And you're trying to not put it out. You're not thinking about inhaling, you're not thinking about exhaling necessarily, you're just thinking about this candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out. It's just flickering in front of your lips. Like a birthday candle. If it is your birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. As we are stretching our self-awareness around and feeling so good and rewarded for it, we're reminding ourselves that it is 5:39 a.m. on November 11, 2021. It is 11/11/2021. Make a wish. Make a wish. November 11th, 2021, 11/11/2021. Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday. It is Thursday today. It is Thursday today, which means it is a Truth Hurts Day. Here on Pal Go On, where we are stretching our self-awareness every morning, every weekday morning. Stretching our self-awareness like a muscle and feeling so good for it. Physically, mentally, spiritually, and then physically again. Stretching our self-awareness and feeling so good for it. As in, where art thou right now? How are you? How is the body feeling right now? Is it sunny where you are? Are you indoors? Are you outdoors? How does it feel to pretend that there is a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out? It is early morning and we love early mornings. Early mornings are fantastic for waking the body up early enough to be able to be ready to tackle the day and not feel like one is being dragged through the day, but rather one voluntarily enters the day. Good morning. As we are stretching our self-awareness today on the Truth Hurts Day on Pal Go On, what we were talking about on the Truth Hurts Days are, as every day on Pal Go On, as we were discussing the relationship between ourselves and ourselves, but in the Truth Hurts Days, we are always talking about a little bit of truths that might be a little bit painful. Without a little bit of guided breathing. As we usually are, but specifically on the Truth Hurts Day, tackle some concepts that might be a little bit spicier. Spicier, for example. For example, today's topic is religion. Religion. Is all religion wrong? Do we start the premise these days with religion is wrong and is all religion wrong? What is religion? Where does it come from? Like most things here on Palawan, we discover it comes from the inside out, or possibly introduce ourselves to the idea that it may come from the inside out. What does that mean, Herbie, the inside out? Possibly religion's not something we discovered, but what is the value of looking at why we created religion to begin with? We will be right back after this short break here on Palawan. But only if you remember that there's a candle flickering in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out. Are we remembering that there's a candle in front of our lips that we're trying to not put out? Welcome back. It is another Truth Hurts Day on here on Palawan. Here on Palawan. And today we are talking about religion. Religion. Are we already religious? What is religion? What is religion exactly? We talk a lot about religion in society right now, in a certain context, usually negative, right? But what is religion? What does the word religious mean? What does the word religious mean? Does it have something to do specifically with a Bible? Does it have something specifically to do with a Quran? Does it have specifically to do with a mantra? What is a religion? Well, doing something religiously. What is doing something religiously? We have an idea that religion, as we are pretending that there's a candle in front of our lips that we're trying to not put out, right? And it's just flickering there, and we're trying to not put it out. We tend to think of religion as something very associated with a specific kind of act, or a Bible, or a book, or an organization. But don't we do things religiously already? As in, don't we do things every day with certain routine, expecting that good will come out of it? Not knowing exactly what good necessarily will come out of it, but we do things in routine, daily, just knowing that good will come out of it. You can brush your teeth religiously, as in you can brush your teeth faithfully to a certain routine, expecting good results because of your routine. We do things religiously, especially depending on how organized we are. Even if we're not organized, we might be disorganized religiously in order to avoid some kind of trauma we're dealing with, some kind of mental health issue that we might be dealing with. What is a religion if not something humans follow religiously in hopes that good will come out of it? Not knowing necessarily, but having faith that good will come out of it. The way we might treat people might be similar to religious acts. And we might treat people consistently a certain way, with certain kind of compassion, with certain kind of understanding, with certain kind of patience, knowing that there's good that comes out of it. Now, humans have needs that they need satisfied. Food, water, sleep. But beyond that, acceptance from others, love from themselves, a feeling of love from the world, a feeling of purpose and belonging. We have needs. Financial needs. Needs to not feel embarrassed. Needs to not feel ashamed. Needs to not feel bogged down from the inside out. Needs to feel like we are valuable. Needs to feel the truth of these things, the truth of these concepts, that we are valuable. We need to feel valuable. We have needs. As we know, our breathing defines our moments so intensely. Our breathing defines our moments so intensely. So how well we are feeling, how well our breathing is, how well we are feeling from the inside out, how good our body feels, how balanced our body feels, how free of pain our body feels. How free of pain our body feels completely describes the moment that we go through. Whether or not there's pain in our body describes how we are feeling in the moment. whether that be physical pain, emotional pain, spiritual pain, describes how we are going through that moment. And so don't we all have needs to feel better? To just feel good, to feel okay? And so weren't we always just looking for something we could do religiously so we could take our mind off of the chaotic amount of decision making we need to make a day in order to make sure that we somehow come out on top of this world in which we are constantly trying to satisfy needs in multiple directions, but we can only be in one finite spot? Was religion something that we discovered out there, or does it continue and have always been something from within? As in, something we could do religiously to reliably deal with all of the unforeseen circumstances and suffering we'll have to deal with in life. As we don't know what will come through, we don't know what we will have to go through, yet we know that we will have to go through it and we will have to overcome. So is religion something we discovered out there, or something we decided was the most logical choice in here? Finding a system in which all humans align with, such that no matter what moment in time, one could follow this design and act with more freedom and love due to this design being closer to the truth. And so whatever we find might be the truth might be the easiest for us, so we cannot be lost in all the chaotic amount of decision making we could make for ourselves and yet not know if it's going to benefit for ourselves amidst the fog of decision making every day, of thousands of decision making we make a day, and each one of those decisions having, well, I don't know, maybe about infinity ways that we can go about them, in order to find ourselves security in knowing that we might be doing the best for ourselves that we possibly can. If we not seek out more about this design, about what we are, about what humans are, about what the universe is, so that we can have more freedom and love and laughter and love life and fear less death as we give ourselves over to this collaborated idea, which might take the stress off of every decision making that we make a day, as we know that this is for the better somehow. How? Well, it's been tested through time, and we've seen it time and time again. It works over and over and over. Religion, Herbie, like what? Like a sky god shooting thunderbolts down and staring you down and judging you? But perhaps it stood the test of time, as in we've seen it over and over again through stories. And so in the infinities decisions that you can make a day, how are you to be certain that you are not only participating in the proper questions, the proper opportunities, but how can you be certain that choices you are making amidst the infinity choices that you can make happen to be the one that will benefit you in the long run? Little old you been on the planet for about 100 years. Maybe if you're lucky. I know you're about like 101 right now. Little old you, 101 years compared to the tens of thousands of years humans have been around. Tens of thousands of stories with repeated themes. Human grows, human is born, human dies. As we are dying every 5 minutes, but that timer is reset with every breath that you take. Little old you, how are we to know that that the decisions that we are making are going to be somehow beneficial for us when we cannot see the whole picture yet, compared to many, many, many completed stories? How are we to know that the decisions that we are making are the best in the long run for us? Well, did we not look for something like that and try to tell our kids about it? Was this not something useful that we could find out? So that we can love life more and not fear the death of all these imaginary opportunities in our head that might be arising that might not be aligned with what we know to be better for us anyway. If we are life loving. We might perform certain tasks religiously. We might go to bed at certain times. We might breathe a certain way. We might eat certain foods at certain times. Why? As we know that it helps us overcome suffering time and time again. We might be looking for something. We might have been looking for something that will help us overcome suffering time and time again. All kinds of suffering. And bring it all to one kind of method so that we can spend our lives perfecting that one type of method, so we can spend our lives loving our performance, loving our life, loving our discoveries more, as we have a repeatable and improvable way to overcome suffering. And we might watch ourselves grow. And we might love our life a little bit more for it. We'll be right back after this short break. This concludes the first half of our show of The Truth Hurts Day, Religion Today, with your host Herbie here on Padawan. We'll be right back for the second half of the show. feeling so good from the inside out, better than your morning would feel without? Are we remembering to feel the rainbow arches and that our weight of the body is delivered down the front of the spine here today? Always. And then our weight is delivered, boom, equally across these rainbow arches today. How are you feeling today? In this simulation of ours in which we die every 5 minutes, but this timer is reset with a breath that you take, are we remembering that there is a candle in front of our lips that we're trying to not put out? Each person, we're just pretending that there's a candle just flickering in front of their lips that they're trying to not put out. And we're not thinking about exhaling or inhaling necessarily. It's simply that there is a candle in front of our lips that we're trying to not put out. Oh, it's just flickering there. And we might remember that the tip of our tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. And how does that feel for you? Welcome back to the second half of THU Go On with your host, Herbie. It is 6:04 a.m. on 11/11/2021, November 11th, 2021. Can you believe that we are already here? Oh my gosh, we're already here at November 11th, 2021. We are so excited. As usual, beginning, middle, and end of the show, we will be getting to any comments, chats, text-to-speeches, donations, anything like that. I want to thank you for joining us here today, and I want to invite you to hold your breathing controller properly by shifting into your awareness the structure, function, shape, and size of your body, and just observing your sense of self and whether or not that feels good for you. Like pretending that there's a candle in front of your lips that they're trying to not put out, just to excite the proper muscles, to get out of your own way, to breathe properly, like pretending, or like reminding that the tip of your tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. And how does that feel for you? As we simply observe, we might not feel as though we are completely familiar with these muscles, but we might observe that as well, our relationship with that as well. Good morning, everyone. Talking about religion today on the Truth Hurts Day for this specific episode of THU Go On. We're talking about religion. Often gets stigmatized as if it's something that we discovered out there, but what is it to discover out there when we perform things religiously elsewhere in areas of our lives in which we do not normally consider ourselves, or in which we do not normally consider associated with religion? Humans participate religiously already. In social media, in adherence to social policies, in adherence to social contracts, even. The way we greet one another, the way that we expect one another to wear certain coverings, the way that we accept information from certain individuals over other individuals, treating politicians or celebrities or scientists as gods and not searching humans as humans are. Humans are always searching for their purpose in order to feel better throughout life. Humans always searching for a way for their spirit to feel the best it can throughout life. As in, its feelings towards its relationship with its life always wants to be that it has the best life ever. And so every human is always just searching for their way of overcoming their suffering like that. Every human is just looking for a way to overcome their needs like that. Whether they be scientists, whether they be celebrity, whether they be president, whether they be politician, whether they be lawyer, whether they be doctor. Every human is simply searching to fill their needs, to fulfill their needs, as we all have needs. We might all be in different positions, but we all have the same position and relationship with ourselves, and that we are constantly trying to satisfy our needs in order for our spirit to feel its best that it can, as in our relationship, even emotionally, with our own life is as best as it can be. Humans always are. Sometimes in our confusing world, we're searching for a way to take the stress, take the pain off of what seems to be overwhelming. So we oftentimes will view information from other human beings as infallible, as it might fit our current situation, so that we can just move on because we have needs. So perhaps not being able to satisfy our own needs gets a little dangerous, as it causes us to maybe turn a blind eye to situations or anything like that. Might cause us to turn a blind eye. Should we not have our own needs met already, we may turn a blind eye to rights that we see being wronged. As we might have our own needs that must be met, that may not be met if we call out or if we try to flex any of our own power on any of this kind of wrong that we see in the world. If we do not feel like we have our needs met, if we do not feel like we can reliably have our needs met, that we can feel like we can overcome whatever suffering may be brought about by doing the right thing, well, we'll turn a blind eye to doing the right thing all the time. And a billion wrongs will lead to a billion wrongs. Infinity wrongs. As we're all just trying to get our needs met, should we not have our needs met from the inside out, thinking that we can overcome any kind of social suffering or any kind of suffering from the inside out, whether that be embarrassment, shame, or physical pain, or incarceration, or financial debt, or relationship sabotage, or relationship collapsation, or relationship building, but we feel like we cannot handle. We may turn a blind eye to doing what we know is right, should we feel like we not have our needs met. As we are all just trying to love life and love ourselves, is it possible to love ourselves when we do not feel like we can get our needs met, when we do not feel like we can overcome suffering from the inside out, like shame, embarrassment, laziness, anger? When we feel like we cannot overcome these things from the inside out, what choices do we make in order to satisfy these needs? And so what life are we truly loving? Do we not know this internally already? Is this not the internal struggle of mental health we are seeing across the globe right now? Being unable to even love ourselves. As what are we even seeing when we do not feel that we connect, that we do not feel we can get our needs met from the inside out reliably? What are we even loving? What life even are we viewing? As it is a life focused on just getting its needs met first from the outside world, when it does not feel like it can get it from the inside out, but yet is designed to. How do we feel so good? How are we designed to feel so good from the inside out? Well, aren't we designed to see pain and imbalance as a way to return ourselves to a painless state and to balance? As we learn to rebalance reliably by pretending that there's a candle in front of our lips that we're trying to not put out. By having a strong relationship with our ability to rebalance for every imbalance that we feel, do imbalances in pain not simply become our friends, as they allow us and they show us the way to becoming rebalanced and free of pain, and full of grace and full of freedom and love again. freedom and love to express thyself, the self, and then which the self can then be loved and appreciated for once. By having its needs met first from the inside out. By feeling like it can overcome from the inside out by using its design from the inside out. To be able to view pain as a way to become stronger and free again from the inside out by having a relationship with being able to do so, by pretending that there's a candle in front of our lips that we are trying to not put out. Might we view pain consistently in a different way that will cause us to improve our lives in ways reliably? Might we view pain so oftenly different in a way that might actually help us in the end? Should we view pain, and might we view pain consistently different? Say we religiously view pain differently. Say we are religious in our perspective shifting of pain. Say every time we think about pain, we perceive it in a new way. Say we do this act religiously. Might this relationship that we grow with ourselves become one that invites complete challenge, one that invites new experience, and one that can love and be loved, for its needs are met enough to be able to express the self. What do you love? Not what do you fear? As we all have those needs, what do we love? Can we see that when our needs are not met from the inside out? We'll be right back after this short break. Here on Pal Go On. Let's talk about truth, heresy, and religion. We'll be right back. But only if you remember that there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out today. Truth Hurts Day, November 11th, 2021. Welcome back to the final portion of last quarter of How Go On here on Truth Hurts on How Go On on the Thursday here. It's November 11th, 2021. And a Thursday here on How Go On means that it's a Truth Hurts Day. Welcome back with your host Herbie. We are talking about religion today, but specifically not that there is some sky god or some crazy dead guy watching you. But rather what we do religiously already, and that humans have. And where did religion come from if not humans just wanting to feel better and wanting to do the best for themselves throughout life and not knowing what decisions those mean? We can make infinity choices, you crazy being you. You're always going to do what you want to do at the end of the day. But there's a little bit of there is the idea that you could do so many things. You can do so many things. You can make so many decisions. How do you know that those decisions are going to be the ones that you want to reliably feel good for you always? Well, we might do things religiously. We might do certain activities that we have faith that will bring us good fortune, though we cannot sell immediately sometimes that they have good effects. We might clean ourselves religiously. We might drink water religiously. We might drink alcohol religiously. What do you mean religiously? As in something that we do often and with discipline, knowing that it will help us overcome suffering in some way. We don't know how sometimes. We don't know how it will unfold sometimes, yet we know it will happen. Don't we already perform activities in our lives religiously, knowing that they will benefit us somehow? As we are pretending that there's a candle in front of our lips that we're trying to not put out. Always. Why? Well, might we want to breathe religiously? Why? If religiously was something that we did all the time. Well, then don't we do something all the time like breathing? So wouldn't we want to breathe well religiously, as our entire moments of life are contained within these breathing moments? Wouldn't we want to do the best in what we do the most often? And what are we doing the most often? Well, aren't you dying every 5 minutes, but that timer is reset with every breath that you take? What do we do most often? Breathe. And so what might we want to do the best at all the time? Breathing. Maybe. Why was religion created? As we are pretending that there's a candle in front of our lips that we're trying to not put out today, we might find that our bodies interact with this awareness a certain way. We might notice whether the body prefers to pretend that there's a candle in front of its lips or not. Using our sixth sense of kinesthesia, which you see in the waiting screens, the would be right back screens. Using our kinesthesia, we are able to feel with which quality our body is moving, aka which quality our body is breathing. And so when we place a candle in front of our lips that we're trying to not put out, our bodies are able to decide for itself whether it prefers that. Might our bodies feel whether or not it prefers to feel that there's a candle in front of its lips it's trying to not put out, as it knows that it can also decide to not be aware of that? And how does that feel? We are able to tell whether or not our body wants to feel that there's a candle in front of our lips that it's trying to not put out. We might have all of our moments contained in these breaths. We might be able to feel with which quality we are moving through these breaths. And don't these breaths define and color our entire experience? And so we see religion often associated with certain body postures, like getting on the knees, putting your two hands clasped together, raising your hands to the heavens. Prayers involve all sorts of different body positions in religion. And we cast all of them away due to not being able to feel them. If we felt as good as they describe immediately, would we ever turn away? Was religion wrong, or were we wrong? Were we unable to feel the benefits of the religion as we assumed that we knew exactly that we were doing those positions properly and thus receiving nothing for it? Perhaps we were wrong and we weren't performing any of these described procedures properly, but it's not our fault and it's not their fault of the past. I mean, they're just doing their best to describe how they were able to attain these feelings in their body, like pretending that there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out. Perhaps religion was describing something real. Perhaps Christianity, Buddhism, and all these other religions, Hinduism, all these other religions, perhaps they were onto something real in that the human body has a way it wants to be better in life, as in it has a way that it wants to breathe well, to experience the best as possible wherever it is at, to be able to meet as many needs as it can wherever it's at, using its vessel wherever it's at, as we are always in this vessel. Perhaps religion were onto something, to decide that we should be on our knees sometimes with our hands clasped sometimes, to awaken certain parts of the body, to allow our body to breathe a certain way, as it is so difficult to breathe and we do not get a guidebook on how to breathe using your own body. Perhaps religion wasn't wrong. Perhaps they were trying to describe something similar, similar to pretending that there's a candle in front of your lips that you're trying to not put out. Without much knowledge that we have been so lucky to fall upon, or they've been researching for the last 200 years with body mapping and integration and internal representations of oneself, that without that knowledge, how could one communicate and justify all these religious postures, religious body movements, if they were not able to be felt by the human body in the way that the describers were, and the way that the writers felt? Of course, people will not align with it should they not feel it. Should they not be able to feel the described feeling, or what is there to go with, what is there to have faith in? Even our weakest faiths are built off of some sort of success, to be able to understand what is possible. Prayer hands, putting our knees on the ground, putting our hands above our head, putting our hands behind our necks, making signs of the cross on our bodies. Without a confirmation of these feeling literally good for people in their lives, literally in their body, well, what faith will there to be built? But was religion not onto something? Perhaps there is a way that the body wants to feel. Perhaps the body wants to feel that the tip of the tongue wants to be anchored to the back of the bottom front teeth. And perhaps this may help us overcome suffering if we remember that the lips prefer to feel that there's a candle in front of them that they're trying to not put out. And how might that affect your decision making and human decision making? Should we feel that we have our needs met? Should we feel that we can flush out any negative feelings of rejection, abandonment, sadness, or anger from our bodies? What might we be like then? Thank you guys for coming through so much. Thank you so much for coming through. It is 6:28 a.m. on 11/11/2021. That is November 11, 2021. It was a Truth Hurts day. I hope the truth hurt, but I hope the truth hurt so good. Talking about religion today. As usual, at the beginning, middle, and the end of the show, we'll get to any comments, subscriptions, text-to-speeches, donations, ninja guineas, or whatever you call them. We appreciate everything. Thank you so much. We hope that you have felt so good from the inside out and had as much fun as we did talking about a topic that should not be separate from the conversation, but seems to be religion. We hope you had as much fun as we did today. As usual, we will get some announcements at the end of every show as well. And we do have some announcements. Just a reminder, Pal Go On will be on an official hiatus. Starting next Monday to the following Monday. An official hiatus. We will still be on Twitter, most likely. We will be updating. We will be restructuring. There will be a lot of good going on. That is from November 15th to November 22nd. November 15th to November 22nd. We'll be on official hiatus. And following that, Pal Go On will have some announcements. Or during that, Pal Go On will have some announcements, but we will be restructuring, so we may be more on social media and such. Ideas will be discussed following the hiatus. Prior to the hiatus. Tomorrow. Thank you guys always for your support. We'll see you on Discord. We'll see you on Instagram. We'll see you on TikTok. Thank you for coming through from Twitter or Instagram or TikTok. Thank you for viewing on YouTube. We hope that you have a fantastic day today. Feeling so good from the inside out. Better than your morning would feel without. Always life loving and staying away from death fearing. We'll see you guys tomorrow at Free from Fridays.